But this is like, it seemed like the White Sox were becoming an elite team, or at least were supposed to become an elite team. This was their best player. Wasn't supposed to be, as I mentioned, wasn't supposed to be their best player, but he was, and he's now gone. What does this mean to Chicago?
Well, I think it's a big deal for Chicago. I mean, he was I got to play with Jose in 2016, and I mean he is the kind of the glue that holds everything together for that team, or at least he was over the last 9 years. That calming presence, that guy that was just Mr. Dependable, and he's a fantastic person, fantastic teammate. So for me, for the White Sox, that's going to be, like, you know, Rick Hahn said, first base is not so much they're looking to bring anybody in, because Vaughn's a tremendous hitter and they believe in that kid. But it's, where is that leadership going to come from now? Is it someone that they're going to bring in? Is it someone that's going to step up on that roster currently? But they have a ton of guys that are extremely talented, that have had issues staying on the field, and not enough depth to cover when those guys are off the field.
Right.
Hence, we've seen, you know, them struggle the last couple of years on kind of living up to the potential that everyone expects them to be.
Last year, there were I called them like in mid-May, like this is the biggest disappointment in baseball. They were a 500 team last year. They were supposed to be a powerhouse and in a weak division. And here's what they've done, just while it's up there. Look, they've ascended, right? For 2019, they're 89 losses. But then in the short season, all right, now they've arrived, 35-25, but they lose to the A's. They go 93 wins in 2021. That's a legit season, but they lose to the Astros. Now they're back to 500. What is this? I said this at the top, Cam. Is the window closing just when it started to open?
Well, you know, as far as the window closing, we don't know how long that window will be open. You know, they do have a lot of talent. I do believe that when you take guys out of their position, it can affect them offensively. I think it does say something about guys being comfortable defensively and how it translates into the offense. But like Alex said, I think it's more so like who's going to be the emotional leader for this team, because just because you're the best player on the team doesn't mean you always lead by example or lead emotionally. Sometimes those guys need other guys around them to be those rah-rah, those vocal guys to take that pressure off them. I've seen Mike Trout, you know, and it's no slight against Mike Trout, but he's not that vocal leader. He's that, I'm going to go out, I'm going to ball out, I'm going to do what I do, you guys can follow.
Right.
So guys like him need guys to step up and say, hey, guys, let's have a meeting, let's talk, let's get together, let's get things on track. And for me, I don't know who in that clubhouse is going to be that emotional leader. This guy clearly was that guy when things got a little bit of when the waves got a little bit rocky. He was the guy to kind of smooth the ship down and kind of settle things when they got a little awry.
He had that comment down the stretch that I thought was like, wow, okay, so someone inside understands what's happening here. He said, guys, there's a difference between being confident, and I believe he used the word like arrogant. And he was like, we're kind of arrogant and we're playing 500 ball here. So like he seemed to have a good read on things too.
And just to both of your points, and you were with the White Sox. He was a guy who helped Yoan Moncada assimilate in baseball at the major league level. And there's no accounting for how important that is, forgetting about what the guy did on the field.
No stat for character. I always say that. There's no stat for character. You see organizations try to piece teams together from talent. But sometimes you got to do a little bit of a background check and see what kind of guy they are, what kind of leader they are, because you need guys that, you know, at the end of the day, if my numbers aren't there, what can we do to win? You know, winning is everything. And I think when you lose that, a guy like Abreu, you lose that leadership and that character that there's no stat for. Andrew Vaughn is going to be a very good big league talent. There's no question about it. But we don't know what kind of leader he's going to be.
Yeah. Also, where were you on the whole Tony La Russa thing? Like, it kind of just ended quietly. I thought this is going to be great or it could be a disaster. It wasn't either, but it wasn't productive.
It was never what Jerry Reinsdorf expected it to be. I think the appointment was out of guilt because of all these years from the time in which he was let go by Hawk Harrelson. Oh, my God, what did we do? And then, of course,
it's a long time ago, though. Right? Come on.
To be carrying that water, it's a long time. But still, then, of course, he goes to Oakland and turns the world on fire. But it was never what everybody expected in Chicago, and it ends disappointingly. And of course, with health concerns, we wish him well.
Right.
He's a great manager. But it was weird.
One of the all-time greats. There's no question. He's in the Hall of Fame. Like now, he came back. I've already had my ceremony.
How weird is that?
Yeah. I wonder, like again, where they're headed. They could have, like at the end. Remember, even with a week to go, had they just snuck in. Like, had they just like they got wiped out, as it turns out, by Cleveland.
They
but had
needed one winning streak.
They needed one winning streak.
And then they're in the
it.
playoffs, and
Yeah.
you could say, I could see with Dylan Cease pitching and Abreu hitting, like they might have done damage. I mean, there's no reason why not.
And I will say this. I know they said there's not a huge need at first, but let's be honest. What just walked out of the door.
Yeah, it was a huge
5
guy.
out of 6
Yeah.
years,
Yeah.
30 and 100. And that 6-year shortened season, he drove in 60 RBIs in 60 games.
Right.
So you're still losing something. Andrew
Yep.
Vaughn is going to be a good player, but they lost a guy who, I mean, possibly headed towards the Hall of Fame in a somewhat short big league career.